This weekend on the original Rochester Press Box.
I'm JC DeLass from WYSL Radio. It's February. It's cold. Let's warm things up talking baseball.
And I'm John Ditullio. I'm a hypocrite, and I'm going to tell you why.
And I'm Mike Catalana. Even geniuses make mistakes.
I'm Bill Pucko, and I want Rex Ryan to stop telling us the things that we want to hear. Join us this weekend on the original Rochester Press Box. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the original Rochester Press Box. I'm Bill Pucko, joined by John Ditullio.
Billy, I can't tell you how much it is for me, a pleasure for me to be here with you,
just
buddy.
try.
I get emotional even talking about it. Thanks, buddy.
Mike Catalana.
I would say I'm at that level with John and maybe a notch today.
All right, can you top that? JC DeLass, the station manager.
Ooh, nice.
WYSL. But of course, we know you mostly as a sports guy, play-by-play, U of R, Geneseo. You keep yourself pretty busy. Look, it leads us right into what we want to talk about is now post-Super Bowl. You know, we're all going in a little bit of football withdrawal. You've got the local stuff covered. What should we be watching? What should we be doing now?
Well, I mean, it's tough, but I'm not going to argue with it. There's a hot team right now, nationally ranked at St. John Fisher, men's basketball team. Coach Rob Cornicker, they've won 15 in a row heading into this weekend. They're up in the top 25 now. They're leading in the Empire 8 Conference, so that's a team to keep an eye on. There's also some good women's basketball. I know they don't get a lot of headlines, but women's college basketball, SUNY Geneseo, they're leading their conference, the SUNYAC Conference. So there's some good local stories, Division III basketball. You don't get all the commercials. Game flows a little bit nicer. To me, it's a little bit more fun to watch. And again, you get in the local scene, there's some good stuff.
Yeah, that Fisher team, too, we did a story with them. You know, their seniors were the only team in the last 30 years of Fisher basketball to have a losing season. They did that as freshmen. And here they are as seniors. And they're fun to watch, too.
Yeah,
they can score some points, so that's good to watch.
Now things have gotten so bad. I hear you were doing Knicks Celtics last night.
I watched the Sabres actually score and win, but I watched the Knicks almost the entire game. And I don't know why I tortured myself. I thought maybe it looked like they're ready to turn the corner and actually become watchable. Watchable, Mike, when I mean turning the corner. But I actually sat through about 2 hours of misery, and then I flipped over to my news show, which I love on Mike's network, called, I forget the name of the show. Forever. I love that show.
The
10 o'clock.
Right? The guy's
it's
gay,
fantastic.
coming back. Yeah.
But locally, I mean, keep your eye on, no, this may be a shameless plug because I'm close to the team, but RIT men's hockey in the arena. I think they're talented enough to make a run and win the AHA and get to the NCAAs. And then you got the Nighthawks going for a four-peat. So if there's one local angle professionally to keep your eye on, it would be the Nighthawks.
But it is a matter of resetting. I mean, I think we're, a week away from the swimsuit issue in Sports Illustrated, which really marks the bottom of the sports calendar.
Watch. I may lose my man card, but do we really? I mean, I don't know. I don't get that excited for it anymore. Maybe I'm just showing my age. I don't know.
Yeah, but there are kids that, they're getting it for the
I'm around
time.
a young kid on my show. Yes, exactly. I've been there, done that. But he is just starting to experience what I experienced 25 years ago. And I think nationally, LeBron James, can he bring Cleveland a title? I think that's something. Now we get to the All-Star. We're approaching the All-Star break. Now the games starting to matter in terms of playoff positioning. I think that's the biggest story moving forward, next to A-Rod showing up at training camp in about a week.
Well, we have to learn why the Atlanta Hawks are so good.
Yeah.
You have to reinvest in hockey. Some of these, the Nashville Predators are leading the NHL.
Yeah. Peter Laviolette, I think, is coaching them.
You got it.
But I'm not done with football. I'm going to the Combine.
Nice.
Oh, that's right.
So that'll be fun. We get to see Rex in operation out there and maybe get an indication of what the Bills are going to do in the draft.
Now we hope. Well, look, we've got a little sportscaster on sportscaster crime to talk about when the original Rochester Press Box continues. welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. This was it was absolutely regrettable, and I watched it happen on Colin Cowherd because I watched him on the simulcast. Why don't you simulcast?
It's a great question, Billy. It's a work in progress.
All right, well,
It is a work in progress, trust me.
I bring that up because Colin Cowherd took an unabashed shot at Dan Patrick and his work ethic in the middle of kind of an emotional grab on Johnny Manziel's rehab, and Skip Bayless's reporting of the incident long before and what a hard worker Skip is, and that kind of led around to the fact that because Dan Patrick has all these producers, he doesn't work as hard, and Patrick took exception. What do you make of all this?
First, I don't like when it's public that way. I mean, we can watch it from afar when it's the national guys or whatever. I don't like when it goes on in a public setting locally either, and that does happen sometimes. Usually that's where it happens on Twitter.
Makes you squirm a little bit.
It does a little bit, and I don't like it in that way. The point about who works harder, my whole take on the whole thing is, one, if you're at home watching, you shouldn't know or care how hard you worked. You go to a restaurant, you have a great dinner. I don't care what the chef had to do to work to do it. If it's a great food, you're happy with it. That's what matters. The presentation is what matters. Yeah, I think the public would hope you're a hard worker. They assume that you're going to work to do your job. So to have two guys sniping at each other, at least, Cowherd taking the shot at him. Look, I'm a Dan Patrick guy. I think he's the most versatile guy in the whole business. Mm-hmm. I think he's a little more entertaining, Costas. Maybe not as serious, but more entertaining, doing that show every day. And I like the way he is, but I don't particularly like the back and forth.
Have you ever been interested when someone tells you how hard they work or how busy they are? Outside of your mom, nobody cares.
I know some people who like to talk about
Well,
that.
they do, but do you want to hear? Do you want to hear what they say? It's boring. Nobody cares. It's all about what's out there. What's the product? That's interesting. So for that to be and I know, Billy, you said it wasn't really the basis of his argument to begin with, but that's where Cowherd ended up going.
Yeah, and the thought was back there.
It was so self-serving, which, go figure, a media personality being self-serving, that's unusual. But, nobody is interested in how hard you work. It's just like a lot of motion, but no activity. Show me the product.
Like you two guys. Because you're, the day-by-day
I work
talk
hard,
show host.
Bill, let me tell you.
And here's Mike Catalana, the master of all
appreciates
media, who shows up everywhere. It's not a big event if Mike's not there. But there's none of that between you guys, right?
No, we snipe at each other all the time.
I'm trying to create
you either got to have a huge ego, or you're insecure, or you're looking for ratings. Those are the three reasons why Cowherd did what he did. I don't know him, but that's the only three reasons I can think why he did it. Huge ego, he's insecure, and he's looking to get ratings. That's it.
And let's look at it this way, too. The way their shows are set up, they're radio shows that are on TV, so you can see them.
Yeah.
When you're watching Colin Cowherd, he's on by himself. It's the only person you see. Dan Patrick has his people as kind of part of the show. They're all there. Cowherd's got people doing work, doing their jobs too. Somebody booking the guests, somebody answering the phones, somebody doing research, all that goes on. Everybody does the same thing. So that part is silly. And the point about Skip Bayless, look, I don't like Skip Bayless. I don't like watching him. But does anybody who likes him or watches him and dislikes him do it because of how hard he works? No, because you enjoy hearing him rant and make up some crazy take on something, and you think that's entertaining. It's not about his work ethic, right? Unless I'm missing something.
To me, the whole thing was so regrettable because I'm a huge Cowherd guy. I think, honestly, I think he's the best at what he does of anyone I've ever heard. He makes you think in different ways. He's entertaining. He's really, really good, and he didn't have to go there. It was regrettable because he didn't have to do that.
Well, makes you wonder, maybe behind the scenes, something going on. Maybe somebody from one guy's side said something to another guy on his side, and he felt like he had to defend him. I mean, there's so much of that monkey business. I love Dan Patrick said, hey, I used to have ESPN muscles, too. Like Cowherd was flexing the ESPN muscle there, which we all know, there's the gorilla, there's the giant.
It should all end like an Anchorman when the two stations fight, don't you think?
That's right.
Have them go at it.
Why not?
Right?
Triton. I killed a guy. We have Like It or Not with the Distillery coming up next on the original Rochester Press Box.
You don't need to be Native American to realize it is offensive. And it's not politically correct. It's the right thing to do.
He was an idiot for throwing him that pitch. The guy's phenomenal. He had no reason to give him anything, especially a fastball to hit.
It's simply that these two guys, Ronaldo and Tom Brady, are too good looking.
I like it, just don't admit to it.
Everybody wants to hate on the best in the world. You know, he's here to stay, and he wants to build something big time.
The bottom line is, still nobody's going to like A-Rod.
This segment of the Rochester Press Box is brought to you by the Distillery. 4 convenient locations, the Distillery, your choice destination for Sunday brunch with great food and drink specials, plus all of the games. The Distillery, a Best of Rochester award winner. Tap into good times at the Distillery. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. This segment of the Press Box brought to you by our friends at the Distillery. 2-for-1 margaritas every day, half-price appetizers Sunday through Thursday after 9 o'clock. It's a great, great thing. Rochester's premier sports bar. Like it or not, Johnny, the other Johnny Manziel, checks himself in.
How do you not like it? I mean, he admits he has a mistake, or he's got a problem, I should say. So I don't see how it's a mistake. Going to therapy, he is reaching out, seeking help. So if anybody who knocks him just hates the kid, period. So amen to the kid. He realizes he has a problem. Let's hope he comes out of it a better person. I think the Browns are hoping he comes out of it a better quarterback.
I wonder, this has to improve his prospects, don't you think? I mean, Cleveland's in a tough spot, but this has to make it a little better, doesn't it?
Now, I'm going to do something that normally doesn't happen here. I'm going to mention Brett Favre before John does. But if I was Johnny Manziel, I might talk to Brett Favre. Yeah. I mean, look at the way Favre started his pro career. He was a mess in Atlanta. Yep. And then he went through the pain pills and whatever. But here's a guy who he maybe could relate to a little bit, who obviously became a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I'm not saying Johnny Manziel has the talent of Brett Favre, but it could be somebody he learns a little bit
But he was known as, Favre was a heavy drinker, big partier.
Yeah.
Big. Even before games, before playoff games in his early career with the Packers, he'd be drinking night before the game.
You see any other parallels here?
In terms of
Manziel and Favre?
I mean, no. Other than,
no.
Yeah, well, I guess their styles are very, very similar in terms of Manziel likes to ad-lib and kind of be a street baller, so to speak. I think those are the similarities.
Because we have the chance to talk about Brett Favre, certainly have to ask him something.
But in terms of raw talent, I don't think Manziel even comes close, but there are some similar styles, though.
JC, like it or not, Bill Raftery getting a shot at the national championship game on television.
Don't just like it, love it. Are you kidding me? This is a guy, now he's old school, he's been around a long time, and when's the last time you watched?
Years old,
right? And when's the last time you watched a Raftery game where you went away thinking, "Boy, that guy didn't know what he was talking about"? He knows what he's talking about. He works hard, and he's got onions in the final. I love it. Grant Hill too is going to be on that group, and I think Grant Hill very well spoken. I've seen a little bit of his work. I think that is going to be a step up from what they had before. I love Raftery.
Is that his first Final Four?
I believe so, because he was always in Billy Packer's shadow back in the Billy Packer days, and then when they transitioned past Packer, Raftery never got a shot. I think this is great for him and great for the broadcast.
I think are maybe the best duo of all time, Lundqvist and Raftery.
Oh, yeah.
He's still looking to replace Packer and McGuire, though. Remember that those guys
with
were
Dick Enberg.
bigger than the game.
And Dick Enberg was the perfect play-by-play guy for those days. Enberg gets overlooked from the Packer and McGuire, but he was great at setting those two guys up and letting them be what they were. I mean, McGuire, irreverent, Packer, the professor. Those three guys, the best.
And Enberg's doing Padres games now, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's a baseball guy. Now, there's another guy who's getting in mid to upper 70s, I think, as far as his age, and still very sharp, still an excellent baseball broadcaster.
Mike, like it or not, Tiger Woods shot in 82.
Well, I don't like that, and I don't think it's good for golf if Tiger is playing this poorly, because there's going to be people that are always going to dislike him. Some people love him. He needs to be relevant. He's not relevant when he's shooting 82. What I don't like about it is that I really believe, as some analysts have said, this man needs to just go swing the golf club and go play. He is immensely talented. Yep. He's got so much in his head. He's hitting shots around the green like we would hit. I mean, sculling them across the green. His short game is a disaster.
It's awful.
This has nothing to do with injuries. I do like one thing. I like the fact that he poked a little fun at himself after that second round, and he said, "I'm only here so I don't get fined," and did the Marchand, joked about it. He also is, because of who he is, the only guy that needs to do an interview after shooting an 82 and missing the cut, because most guys are out the door. Phil Mickelson, for all his goodness, when he missed the cut in Rochester, he was long gone, or when he played his final round, he was long gone. Not every guy stays and talks. I want to see him be better. I want to see him be relevant. I think it's great for golf when he is. He's not relevant.
Just quickly, he does seem to be taking this pretty well.
Well, what else can he do? He's got the yips. Whoever thought, he just won Player of the Year a few years ago, And now he's atrocious. How do you go from here to here? I don't get it. I can never imagine
It's upstairs.
anybody at the top of their game, the best of all time. All of a sudden, Tom Brady can't throw it down and out, can't throw a simple pass. Imagine that. It's basically what Tiger Woods can't do.
Billy, he's taking it well. Remember, he's going home to Lindsey Vonn.
Yeah.
I take it pretty well, too. Come on.
That doesn't solve everything.
It,
But it solves a little bit. This portion of the original Rochester Press Box brought to you by our friends at the Distillery. Unfinished business is next. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. Time for Unfinished Business. John starts.
I don't know what I said last year, but I'm coming clean. My guilty pleasure is watching National Letter of Intent Day on ESPN. It's where 17, 18-year-old kids sign away their futures to whatever respective colleges they plan on going. I hate it, but it's so bad it's good. To watch 17 and 18-year-old kids lay out 4 hats and then tease what school they're going to go to, throw on the hat, the band's there, the governor's there, the mayor's there. For what? To watch a 17-year-old kid, I guess, put on a Penn State hat and please me. I hate it, but I can't help it. I've got to watch. I don't know why I watch. I've been watching it now for I don't know how many years. I'm knee-deep in it. Call me a geek. I'm a Penn State fan. They're 12th in recruiting. Syracuse is 60th, and the best recruiting class belongs to USC. But I watched every minute of it, and I hate it. I hate when they play the Little League World Series. I hate when they have those little kids, those 12-year-olds are on TV. And I hate watching 17 or 18-year-old kids act like they just cured cancer and put their hat on. I hate it, but I'll be back next year. Take it to the bank.
Geek.
I hate it.
You know why he's doing it? Because it's part of your hard work to get ready for the show.
It's
We
prep.
appreciate
That's
it.
become
It's
the
prep.
theme.
And I was late today because of it. Mike brought up a point I was going to get to. How many five in the 4? They rank players 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Not one 5-star high school recruit started in the Super Bowl this year. Think about that. We've got a problem with the rating system, I think. In Scout.com and Rivals.com, 2 websites I live off of.
The hardworking JC DeLass.
Listen, it's February. It's freezing. Let me give you some thoughts to warm you up. Pitchers and catchers report in less than 2 weeks. Get a little baseball going to warm up your thoughts. Opening day, less than 2 months away at Frontier Field. And I'll tell you what, Rochester Red Wings are going to be a very good team this year because the Twins are loaded. Recent rankings coming out. Twins have one of the best minor league systems coming up here, and we are going to get some of those top prospects in Rochester. Byron Buxton, who's thought to be a top 5 kid in the minor league system, he will be in Rochester at some point this summer. May start, may not start with the Red Wings, but we're going to get to see him. They got a new manager, too, Mike Quaddy. Hey, when's the last time we had a guy who managed in the big leagues who now will manage with the Red Wings? Quaddy, a former Chicago Cubs skipper. He's a great guy. Gene Glynn loves this guy. Of course, Gene left the Red Wings now, going to be part of the Twins coaching staff. So, new manager, Quaddy. You got great prospects coming up. It's less than 2 months away. Let's just fast forward. I mean, NBA, NHL, they're chugging along. We're not near the playoffs. College basketball tournament, still a month away from that. Let's get a little baseball going. Let's warm things up. I'm a little sick of February right about now.
Serious about warming things up. I thought you were going back to your Lindsey Vonn reference. Well, if Gene Glenn likes Mike Quaddy, then I like him too.
He's an intense guy, too.
Love him.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Really energetic. I want to talk about Bill Belichick. He's a fascinating guy. I think he's the best coach in the NFL, and right up there with Greg Popovich maybe, and Mike Krzyzewski is the best coaches in all of sports. And I always say that Belichick makes all the right decisions. I joke that every coach should wear a bracelet that says WWBD, what would Belichick do? Because I think he always does the right things. But I will have to say, at the end of that game, when Seattle made the terrible decision to throw the ball instead of giving it to Lynch and get the touchdown, to give Bill Belichick credit for not calling timeout, and somehow that forced Seattle into throwing the ball and cost them a chance of the game, I think is silly. I think Belichick, rarely say this, messed up. If Seattle scores a touchdown at the end of the game, he's sitting there with 2 timeouts and 20 seconds left and doesn't give Tom Brady a chance to tie the game. I think it worked out great for Belichick because he got the pick and the defense maybe was ready. But I think he actually made a game-time decision, but he got lucky, and he's a champ again.
Yeah, they said he would have had a timeout probably in 50 seconds if he goes the other way. I just want to say something quickly about, because we were talking about Colin Cowherd, a couple of things that I picked up on his show a few weeks ago. He quoted John Lennon. He said, always be honest. He says, you won't have a lot of friends, but the friends you do have will be solid. And then Colin threw in, beware of the person who is always telling you the things that you want to hear. And that makes me think of Rex Ryan. And Rex Ryan is kind of making the circuit. The pizza ad is, the pizza ad. The tattoo, it's interesting, it kind of makes him seem like one of us, which I'm not sure we really want him to be. But Rex, he's holding for Trent Dilfer, Jack Kemp. He says these kind of guys can still be relevant. He's done nothing but, since he was hired, I think, since his coronation that we all attended, is tell us the things that we want to hear. I'd rather he tell us the things that we need to hear and the things that need to get done to make the Buffalo Bills relevant in the next football season. We want to thank the Distillery for supporting this fine television program, and of course the Channel 13 for airing it in their excellent judgment. John, thanks as always.
Billy, great show today. It really was.
Michael?
Thank you.
And JC, great to have you back, man. Keep up the good work with those colleges.
Thank you very much. My pleasure being
Thank
here.
you for watching. We'll see you next week on the original Rochester Press Box.